Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your host, Wilmos Ernan Toaster, coming alive. This is episode 8 of Road to 2000 ELO on chess. We are sponsored by Skittles today. Make sure you go check the link in the description, skittles.com, taste the rainbow. We had a pretty good day last time where we were able to win 2 games. We're going to go ahead and play another rapid today. This morning I was playing some puzzles. Trying to do some what you call clearance puzzles. A clearance puzzle is where you make a move that will basically open up a better strategy in the future, such as getting your queen into a specific spot or forking. Our enemy is a 1261 today, fairly high. We'll go and play with the London. Just as always, ladies and gentlemen, use that London to bring that ELO up and get practice in different positions. Again, as I reach 1300 or higher, I probably will start using some different openings and experimenting a little more. Maybe I should experiment with the computer. If any of you have ever watched Tyler 1 play chess on YouTube or Twitch, you will know that he uses the same opening over and over. He's reached over an ELO of 1900. And I do think that would get a little boring after a while. So I'm not just going to run with the same opening forever. But it is a good way to solidify pattern recognition, because if you just continue to play with the same pattern, then you're going to recognize things much easier. For example, if he were to push this pawn and I decided to ignore that pawn, I would know that he was going to start to fork these two, because I've been in that situation before. So that's just kind of what happens. He's protecting his knight with his bishop. We can simply command his knight to move away, but that would weaken our king side a little bit. So maybe we'll just go ahead and ignore him for now. Continue finishing my development. Okay, so he does play the move that I was just discussing, actually. That's pawn to e5. Question is, do we take? I believe it would be beneficial for us to do so. So let's go ahead and take that pawn, prevent him from forking my bishop and my knight. Maybe we can even develop some kind of strategy here where we can block off his bishop and take this knight. Very interesting. He decides to take one of my pawns. I'm not able to take with anything but my king, so that does damage my ability to castle. Thankfully, I can bring my rook over here, bring my king back down. I would much rather trade a tempo to be up by 3. So that was a pretty big mistake on his part. Perhaps he forgot that my king can also play. He comes down here threatening to place my king in check. I would like to continue protecting this pawn, so I can either move my bishop down or move a pawn up. If I were to move my bishop down and we conducted a trade, he would move his queen here, putting me in check and putting me into a sticky situation. So for the time being, let's go ahead and push the pawn. I could push this pawn. My arrows are very inaccurate a lot of the time. Take here, allowing me to be a little more aggressive with my knights. Bring the queen out. Pin this guy down. So I've actually fallen into a pretty simple trap of just getting my bishop placed in a one spot, which is unfortunate because should have been able to see that actually. Block off my bishop's escape route. So I can go with the trade. I would not be able to take. Let's see what the best move would be here. If I were to push this pawn and he decided to take, I could take this pawn, cause him to move his king more into the open. Now if he takes here, then I will be losing a pawn, but I can save my bishop. Bring my bishop back, offering a trade. However, if he takes, I take, well, he's in check, so he'll have to take at that point. Okay, so that allows me to save my bishop. Go here, take. He'll have to do that because I'm threatening to take his rook. That is going to leave my knight a little bit exposed for the moment, but it's better than giving up my lead. He might simply push this pawn, in which case I'd be in trouble. I don't think I'd be able to protect both of them. If he were to do that, I'd take. So I'm assuming he's going to trade. Currently no spots where I can fork his king. My king is exposed at the moment. And my knight is just hanging out in the center. So I am going to want to get some protection for my knight here. I think I'm just going to have to move him back. Here's probably the best spot. Let's move back. He'll probably push his pawn, continue to chase my knight. We're still up by 2. We do have a time advantage, slightly. I'm honestly just happy that I'm not falling way behind. Moves his bishop, interesting. If this pawn weren't there, then that would be really good move. Unfortunately, I can't do that. I'd like to get my queen here if possible, but that's going to take a few tempos. I'm happy to leave my knight here for now. These two knights are covering each other. I can also just tell him to move. Or I can move here. That wouldn't work. Let's take the simplest route. Just tell the bishop to make a choice. Possibly force another trade. Get my queen out. I need to get my queen somewhere, such as here. Wonder if I could fork the king with anything. Not really, it'll just depend on how things play out. Okay, he decides to move back. Take, 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 and then I can fork. Let's try it. This rook may attack, but my rooks would be connected then. Take, take, take. What do you take here? Nope. He goes the wiser route. Decides not to trade. He knew that something was up. I'm unable to take this pawn for now because of this knight. If I can open this up, I might be able to take a pawn. Kind of just want to leave this open position for now. I'm surprised he hasn't castled. Let's offer the trade. Every once in a while my mouse stops working for a second. I have to restart it. Take, take. Should get this pawn to move. Then I would be able to move my knight up. He's able to push against my king. I wonder what would be the best position to put my king in here. Because he could move him down, go here and take. So I think I just need to get my king a little farther away. I don't want to block myself off though. If I move here and he moves here, I feel this is the best position because then he can't move his bishop. Take, take. Or or take, and I'm able to move my knight. I believe all my pieces are currently covered. It continues to push. Unfortunately, I just have to keep moving, which I don't like, but it's still covered. I like to push this queen away. Seems like a solid move. However, my knights won't be connected. And I'm pinned. Perhaps that wasn't the best move. Maybe I should just move back there. We'll have to review that. Let's move 21. Or 22, I mean. May just move here. He just continues chasing my queen, or my king, I mean. Could move here. I don't like just having to move my king over and over. I'm afraid he's going to bring in his other pieces. I think I can either move my knight or move my bishop. I'd rather have my knights covering each other. I'm running a little low on time. I feel like it's time to get his queen out of the picture. Offering a trade. Don't want to move here, because then I can't move this knight. Let's try bringing all my pieces in. I'll bring my other rook over. He's trying to get to my king. He just doesn't know how yet. And that's what happens when you leave your king in the open. Such as in this move. Especially if you let the enemy queen penetrate. Just gonna chase you around. I left that hanging. Now I'm in check again. Starting to bring all of his pieces in for an attack. Could go here, and if he refuses to trade, possibly take his bishop. Bring my rook out. Probably be better to do with my rook, actually. If I move here and he takes, I'll be in check. I need to play more quickly. Running low on time. There's got to be a move that I'm not seeing that can take him. Need to get that queen out of the picture. The game is just focused way too much on my side of the board right now. I need to change that. Go here. Threatening this bishop. He's also low on time. If he goes here, that might be checkmate. Let's not allow him to do that. Now he can move his bishop, though. Which he does. That was a good move. I think I just lost. Let's try to stay on the white squared bishops. White squared bishop. Let's try to stay on the white squares to avoid his dark squared bishop. Only have one move. is able to force me into my queen and my king being together. I think it will be a trade. Not exactly a trade I want. Yeah, because I think he's going to be able to gain up another 3 points on me. 3 or 5 points. Time is so low for both of us, though, that decisions just have to be made. If he takes here, I can take here. Okay, it's all about time now. Just really have to start playing quickly. He's able to take that pawn. Just need to keep that time pressure on. There it takes. It's going to be a long game, people. Long game indeed. My only hope of creating a pass pawn is if he were to move that piece. That was intense. I was definitely losing in the end game there, but we both were so low on time, and thankfully I was able to win on that, but I was not doing well. Let's see what we got wrong. I feel like first half of the game I was doing very well, and then I did one or two blunders, which just kind of gave the entire thing away. It must have been these two right here. Just when he attacked with that queen, he was able to move my king around so much that I was, and I spent so much time trying to make sure that I didn't get into checkmate that he was able to take full advantage of that. Okay, so he blunders his knight. I'm up by 3. Looks like instead of moving my pawn, I should have been aware that there was going to be no escape route for my bishop. So yeah, it would have been much better to move this pawn instead. But he was able to trap me. It still says that I should have done this for some reason. I wanted to save my bishop though. So I went ahead and made the trade. We were still doing okay. Up by 2. Otherwise, let's see, I'm originally up by 3. Now I'm only up by 1, so I'm not sure why I was saying that that was the best move, but regardless, I think the biggest thing was moving this piece before this piece, giving my bishop an escape route. So that was unfortunate. I was able to recover somewhat, still up by 2. I knew that this position was there if I needed it because he hadn't castled, but I was saving it for a really good turn. Okay, so that was the right move, pushing his bishop. Should have gone for a trade here, but it's not a big deal. Try to push the trade. Okay, he starts chasing me around. I make the necessary moves. Okay, so here I'm actually doing pretty well so far. Like, my accuracy seems to be pretty high up. That's the blunder right there. So I should have kept moving my king away, but instead I decided to block with my knight. Which makes sense looking back on it because, again, this knight was pinned. Like, I can't use this knight as long as my rook is staring at my king, so I should have moved away. Best move would have been to take. That's interesting. So that was the move right there. You know, looking back on it, just like a lot of games, some of the things are pretty simple. I know that the two things I were considering was this move or this move. I think I mentioned this move, but I wanted to get his queen out of there. I think a big lesson from this game is going to be, even if he comes in with his queen and starts trying to push your king around and bully him, like, you really shouldn't sweat about it too much because their king is so exposed, or their queen is so exposed, and you have so many pieces on your side of the board that eventually they're either going to blunder and their queen's going to get taken, or they're going to have to retreat and you're going to be in a more developed position. We were both pretty low on time during this game, so that had to have said something. Okay, that was a blunder on his part, because he could have taken my knight. But he didn't. Still in the lead. I try to trade queens because I'm tired of the queen, and he's able to push. That puts me in a better position. I'm still fairly winning. I mean, that's plus 3.7. Like that's a much higher win margin. I decided to push his bishop when instead I should have gone here, placing him in check. Let's see. So I place him in check. He has to move or block. He decides to move. So it's just keeping a better position, I suppose. Now my king's out of the way. These knights are still connected. I have a nice pawn chain going. I mean, just a lot of good things going for me here. So it's not a huge move, but it does make a big difference just because of the position. So I try to push. He decided to put me in check, move around. I'm still in the lead by a lot. I'm up by 2 pieces. I'm in a better position. His queen's way out in the open. He's being way too aggressive with it. I give up my bishop. That was just something I missed, is that my bishop was hanging. That was because I moved my queen or my king away. Instead of defending with a rook or moving away, I decided to push my pawn. Let's keep going. So that put him in the lead. He made a big blunder here, because I was able to take that bishop. Now here, the reason I decided to take here is because I didn't want him to put me in check and fork me or something. Would it have been beneficial to take his bishop? Yeah, it would have been. Oh yeah, I was afraid of this queen coming in because he was so close and protected. I guess he can't force a checkmate though. Okay, so I was afraid of a checkmate. That's why I decided to take out his pawn. That was a big mistake because there was no checkmate there. It was an illusion. Right, he goes here. So I take, he takes with his queen, but then I could just move away, and he actually can't catch me. He would win my knight, though. So it's still like a pretty sticky situation, but I'm way up. So it looked like there's a checkmate, but there was no checkmate. Instead I blundered. Yeah, here would have been better. Because then if he did take, I could... Well, let's see. Suppose that's what would have happened. Let's keep going. I again make a blunder by trying to trade queens. I don't know. I feel like I let my emotions get in the way a little bit too much in this game. I wanted to get that queen out of the picture. It's causing me too much stress, too much time crunch, and I wanted to take her out. Even if it costed me a trade. But I didn't do that. He was able to take my knight. And then he could have won here. He could have won here. Let's see how. If he had moved his queen. Like, it's all just chasing my king around because of where my position is. Yeah. So there was a checkmate there for him. A little difficult to get it, but he had the right idea. He started chasing my king around using his bishop and his queen. Made a wrong move here. He was able to make a trade. He was up by 3. And then after this, it was just all about time. I was just trying to whittle down his time, and thankfully I was able to. A lot of that whittling down was just trying to trade rooks, but he did not want to do that for some reason. Okay. Well, that was not my best game, but things that we can take away. Things that we can take away are, number one, if he pushes with a queen and you have plenty of pieces on your side of the board, chances are you're not in any danger unless he corners your king into a really tight spot, right? So that's the first lesson. Second lesson is if they're trying to come close to you with a queen, acting like they're going to get checkmate, remember that sometimes it's best to just make sure they're non-checkmate instead of blundering pieces. Also, don't leave pieces hanging, because that was just one thing that I very obviously did. All right, guys. Well, that's only one game. We're at 42 minutes, so pretty long video. I think I'll end it there. I was able to pull off the win because he ran out of time, but in my mind, that was a pretty obvious loss. So we just got a little lucky. We are working our way back towards that 1282, which is nice to see. I was in that rut for, almost a month, and it's tough when you're in a chess rut because you're worried that, you're just wasting so much time. But thankfully, we are working our way back towards 1300. Once we make it to 1300, I'll do a little celebration of some sort, because every milestone does deserve a celebration. All right, guys, well, I'm going to keep on studying, keep on playing some puzzles. Never underestimate puzzles. They are awesome in training your brain and rewiring your brain into seeing things you would never see before. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, favorite, share, donate, and go check out my sponsor, skills.com. Link is in the description. All right, guys, have a good one. I'll see you next time.